What's the reason behind this meeting? Tell us what's going to take place this morning.
So this morning at 11 a.m., myself, community activist Stockton McCoy, Chief Eric Jones, and the city manager are going to have a conversation about sort of the atrocities we saw committed with the murder of George Floyd, some of the unrest and uprising we're seeing across the country, and also some of the work that Stockton's been doing around police-community relations for the past several years, but also the work we've been doing around reducing poverty and increasing opportunity.
And let me ask you this. We've seen what's been going on in the last few days in the protests, the looting, in regards to the death of George Floyd. Do you think something like this might happen in Stockton?
I hope not. And I say that because I think what we've been doing in Stockton is the work of justice outside of hashtags. So for the past several years, for example, last year our police department led the state in decreasing officer-involved shootings. Our police department's on the forefront of reconciliation work with the community. We've been increasing opportunity by providing scholarships to all of our graduating seniors. We've been piloting basic income as a way to decrease poverty. We've been investing in violence prevention to make our community safe. So we've been doing a lot of the work to address the underlying causes. But we still know that there's a lot of anger and frustration and anguish because it's not just George Floyd, that there's a 400-year history in this country of black people and black men being lynched or beaten or killed unarmed by law enforcement. And that's just a brutal legacy that none of us created, but we all have to deal with to create the post-racist society we all deserve.
What are you hearing from the community since this happened in Minneapolis? Are you getting emails, phone calls from folks that are concerned or that have something to tell you?
Yeah, I've heard a lot from the community that what can they do to be part of the solution? What can they do to help? What can they do to express their anger and their pain? What can they do to kind of make Stockton a model? And that's really the work that's required because, again, I know people are angry and frustrated at seeing the looting and rioting. And I think that's easy, and it's bad, it's wrong, and it's easy to condemn that. But it's much more difficult and actually more necessary to condemn the underlying conditions that give rise to hopelessness, that give rise to riots. And that's the work of government, but that's also the work of each and every person. So that's what we're going to endeavor to do. We're going to have frank, tough discussions. We're going to speak truth about how the violence of looting and rioting is bad, but also the violence of killing unarmed black men, of taking life, is even worse. And we're going to talk about what we can do to avoid both of those things from happening.
Finally, what can you tell people? What can they do to make this a better place in the city of Stockton?
Yeah, I think, well, there's a cadre of things people can do. I think, number one, everybody has to look at their own biases. So if you clutch your purse when someone who looks like me is walking by, that's a problem, and we should figure out how to correct that. If you're on next door, demonizing and imputing and accusing teenagers of committing crimes for walking through neighborhoods, that's a problem that has to be addressed. And then also we have to push each other to do better. We have to make sure that there's good schools in every neighborhood. We have to make sure that people can afford housing. We have to make sure that we highlight and amplify and support our officers who are doing a difficult job in a good way, in a just way, but also have accountability measures for those who aren't. And I think if we continue to do those things in addition to a myriad of others, then we can continue to push and make sure that the American ideal of reality is out there.